Are we live?
This is the countdown. This is the countdown to the Dan and Kody podcast. This is the countdown. This is the countdown. 20 seconds left until it starts. This is the countdown. This is the countdown to the Dan and Kody podcast. This is the countdown. This is the countdown. Get ready for it to take off.
The Batman movies has just came out, and Kody's in a difficult place because watching Batman movies are very challenging for him because they serve as a constant reminder that if Kody's watching Batman, he isn't Batman.
This is the Dan and Kody podcast.
This is it. Right here, Kody. You put on those headphones and you go to work.
Why are you yelling?
This is where our message is heard. It's time to get hyped. Say it with me.
What are we saying?
Dan and Kody.
Dan and Kody.
Dan and Kody.
It's Dan and Kody podcast.
Dan and Kody podcast.
Dan and Kody podcast.
Get some.
Dan and Kody podcast.
Yeah, baby.
So it's interesting that you say this. Is there something in our time together where I have led you to believe that I have viewed myself as Batman?
I just think that there's no other reason for you to be so cold on Batman unless you were jealous of Batman in some way, shape, or form.
You think that it's a jealousy thing. You think that I don't want to go see that I don't want to see the Rango version of Batman. You think that's why I don't want to see Batman. It's because I'm not interested in watching, like, I don't know, somebody drive their muscle car that's supposed to be the Batmobile. I have a complete issue with the aesthetic of this movie. I'm not interested in the lightest, in the slightest.
I think your indifference to Batman is derived from a place of jealousy that you aren't Batman. That's what I think.
I think that's absolute insanity. Like, to think that I can't watch Batman because I don't see myself as Batman.
You've held all the other Batmans to such a standard, and you're like, man, I want to be that Batman. I want to be all those different Batmans. And then Robert Pattinson came along, and then you were like, why is he Batman? I can be Batman.
Well, no, I would never ask the question. I would never ask why is he and I am not. I understand why he is and I am not. He is a commercially successful actor that you can, I don't know if you could bank a movie off of, but you could definitely like say, okay, yeah, I'll give you some money to make this movie. I get it. But no, I do think that him as Bruce Wayne is weird. Him as Batman is kind of weird. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
You better see it, because deep down, Batman is the closest superhero that every person could be.
He's the closest superhero that any person could be.
Yeah. He's like, being Batman, you don't actually need a superpower. So deep down, every boy, man thinks that at some point they could be Batman. It's attainable.
I would say it's more attainable to become Batman than to be Superman or Aquaman or one of these other DC ones, because they're all fictional characters. And to be a even greater than the 1%, the 0.01% of the wealthy in the world, it's possible that you could attain it, though highly unlikely. So, and that's right. Thank you, John Cooley. Wealth is his superpower, nothing more.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a chance. There's no chance you could be Superman. There's no chance you could be Aquaman. There's no chance that you could be Doctor Strange. There is a chance you could be Batman.
I mean, I don't know if there is a chance that you could legally work as an unpaid vigilante that decides to manage and control crime. Not in the United States, maybe in Russia. Maybe in Russia. That's all I'm saying.
You better hit that theme music, Sonny.
Oh shit!
Welcome to the podcast.
Right.
This is the Dan and Kody podcast.
This is it. Right here, Kody. You put on those
I
headphones.
already
and you
hit
go
this
to
music.
work.
No, you didn't.
This is
Yes,
where
I
our
did.
message is heard. It's
You
time
did?
to fight.
I did this already.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Well, maybe you did.
Nova even said, "Love the double theme." I've already
Wow.
did it. I was
Welcome
like,
to-
did I say it?
Welcome
What
to
the
our
hell?
first podcast.
I thought I did. I don't understand why you're having me like re-hit the button. Anyway,
Hey man, I'm just here, you know? I'm just
Okay.
here trying to make the best of it.
I guess that's one way to describe it. We're making the best. By the way, check out my cup. Bump pregnant with a question mark. Am I? I don't know. Wife's cup. Beautiful cup though. Look at that cup. White with that beautiful font. What is that font?
Wow.
Oh,
This is what you get with the live feed
true.
that you don't get with the podcast version.
and just so you know, podcast listeners, I kept it in there just for you. I kept all that chaos in there. It's better that you get a full taste, like a full swig of Bump pregnant. Who knows? Ooh, that's good, Joe. Anyway, we're excited. I'm excited to be here, Dan. I've been looking forward to this since our last podcast. I really have.
I am too. I feel like
yeah.
I have some good things to say this week.
Really? Oh, you good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to think that they're good, right?
I think you'll think that they're good. For instance, I got on the horse, literally, and jumped into Elden Ring. Deep in it.
Are you playing Elden Ring? Really?
I'm playing that shit, and I've never played games like this, and I enjoy it, and it's very hard, and I don't know what I'm doing a lot of the time, but I feel like Animal Crossing has prepared me for this. Because it's kind of the same thing with just more detail in the collection of things and management of like storage mixed in with violence. You know?
Just like Animal Crossing. It's
Just
about
like
survival.
it.
It's about making sure that you're going to make it to the next feed. Is that what they
Yeah.
do? They feed each other on Animal Crossing?
No, that is not what happened.
Okay. I don't know. I don't play the game.
Animal Crossing, you're building a village. You're buying. You're collecting fruit and chopping down trees to get
Sure.
like currency to trade in for money, and then you spend the money on other shit. So and then Elden Ring, you're collecting like berries and meat.
Wow. You've convinced me to take it up.
You got to get in there for the berries and meat, bro.
Yeah, the berries and meat. Well, I'll leave it at that. I'll let you have it. I
but
can't say, yeah.
there's a really really interesting story of a guy like for those of you that don't know, Elden Ring just came out. It's like the next iteration of like Dark Souls basically, and it's open world game. It's gonna take forever to play. There, hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. And this article that I found was about a gamer who paid a cam girl the equivalent of $20,000 to play Elden Ring with him for 40 hours.
Okay.
40 hours.
A cam girl to play Elden Ring. Did they become best friends?
He claims that like they really like got a connection. He's 31. Chris from New Jersey. He claims to have paid an adult model, Charlie Hart. Why don't you Google her?
Sure.
CHARLEY Hart, $20,000 to do a marathon session via a website called Cam Soda. Here's a quote from him. He's like, "I usually play campaigns by myself in my boxer briefs and overload on carbs while chugging energy drinks. It was nice to have Charlie alongside me as I traversed the lands between. We got to know each other quite intimately.
Oh
and
my
connect,
God. A
and
nerd dream right now.
and connected on a deeper level." He added, "I really appreciate her companionship, and I look forward to hopefully streaming with her again when the next big game is released."
Well, I Googled her, Dan.
Yeah.
And I Googled her. I found her Twitter, and things are going in and out of her. So I wasn't expecting that.
Oh wow. So she's that kind of cam girl?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's cam girl or just cam girl.
Cam girl. Wait, no, this can't be her. Or can it?
I mean, I think it's her. Like the fact she played 40 hours for Elden Ring for 20 grand. I mean, that's like, you know.
Well, yep, that's her. Oh yeah, that's her. All
so
right.
She's very attentive to the things that she enjoys.
Wow.
So I can only imagine the amount of effort and energy she put into Elden Ring.
He also alleges that he and Charlie were able to beat the game in 40 hours.
Not happening.
While that's certainly not impossible, it's quite an impressive feat. It's also one that apparently put Chris off from ever wanting to do anything like that again.
Oh.
He said it was very intense, he admitted. I was hell-bent on beating the game. I'm going to break it up next time if I ever do a full campaign.
Wow. 40 hours on a game a week, like a full 8 hour, like 5 straight 8 hours, 5 days a week. I just can't play video games that long. I just don't have the attention span.
I've never been able to, like, even when I was a kid, I couldn't just straight up play even 8 hours a day. I feel like
sure.
I broke it up. You know?
Yeah, you had to. Yeah, for sure.
Is that what people do now? Like they just take off work for like a couple days when a game comes out and just fucking go for it?
I think the youth of America does.
Really?
The youth does this. The youth have a real problem.
And they just run it.
Just run it. Play these games like they're junkies, man. Junkies.
When I got
How many hours into this game are you playing it right now? How many hours are you in? Does it give you a timer?
Yeah.
So how many hours?
I've played about 5 hours.
5 hours. Okay. So, I mean, that's fair. I get it.
And I'm probably like 2% through it, you know?
2%, 5 hours. So you're saying, for you to get to 100%,
if there's even like an end, you know? I don't know that there is an end.
No,
I think you just
these
build
games are
up.
And these games are also set to update so that they give you new missions and you keep going and you keep playing and you keep playing and you keep playing. The intention is to get you to continue to play always. Like,
right.
That's where they're money.
I can't fight anybody. I lose.
Yeah.
All these bosses are like massive and they like just fuck you up real quick. And like you start out like shitty. It's like I have no power.
Right.
To like fight or kill anything.
The whole idea is you learn to become the holder of Elden Ring.
Of the Elden Ring.
Of the Elden Ring.
Anyway. What do you think of like the landscape of gaming, video games today? I think it's wonderful.
I mean, it's a whole hell of a lot better than Mario Brothers in 1991, 1989. It's where entertainment is going. Dan and I, we have a good friend, Mayron. Hey, Mayron. Hey, buddy boy. I was having a conversation with Mayron, who's a filmmaker, and he previously worked in the video game industry, and he's now kind of back in working in the video game industry. And I told him, I'm like, you are essentially in the world of filmmaking. You're in the world. You're in the landscape of narrative storytelling and it's a much more colorful, a much more immersive experience than any movie you could ever make.
Oh yeah.
And it takes you by the hand and it takes you on a ride forever. And that's the whole big element to what he's doing and anybody that works in the industry. And that industry is where it's all going. It's all going there. It's just continuing to climb. You know, the Xboxes of the world, these independent game makers that are creating more immersive things. The thing that's going to set off, and we've talked about this in the past, virtual reality. The thing that's going to get people onto it into the next space is
like,
that.
I don't like. I mean, I like VR, like putting on an Oculus and like playing like a game for a little bit, but I don't. I get kind of woozy with the headset on, and I
Yeah.
couldn't do that for like 2 hours straight, like playing a game like Elden Ring. You
Maybe.
know? I kind of like having the picture on the wall and doing it that way.
And again, I think a lot of that has to do with technology just hasn't caught up to the needs of people. Like the real challenge is there's the idea of what, you know, this third internet is, right? This third internet space 3.0. And the truth is the tech's not there to provide that experience. Although maybe 10 years it'll be here. I mean, like if we think right now it's 2022, 10 years ago was 2012. What did we have? What was really just get going? And a lot of it was like cloud services.
Yeah.
Cloud data was getting going. We were like, Facebook was starting to get on a roll. And like, that's where we were. That's 10 years ago. It doesn't seem that long ago, but a lot's changed even in 10 years.
I love like the bankable entertainment, like knowing that like I could be home and I have a game that can provide me 40 hours of entertainment.
Sure.
At minimum.
I
know?
think that's interesting. I recently played, and I can't believe we're talking about video games because I'm not that guy. But
no, you're weird. You buy video games, then you sell them like a crazy person. I don't understand that.
I don't understand. What are you talking about?
I get so frustrated with you. You're like, yep, I got Xbox. I got these 2 games. And then I'm like, hey, how's Xbox going? And you're like, sold it. I was supposed to, like, I was playing it too much. Like, that's what it's for.
No, man, it's not like I'd rather spend my time doing something else. I'd rather be focused on something else other than the redundancy of a game. There's so many more interesting things to do. So many more. Just life is 1,000 times more interesting than those games.
But when everyone's asleep, like, what are you gonna do?
Read?
You know? That's my night owl shit.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I want to be able to, like, when people are asleep, I want to be able to like plug in and upload information into my brain. I want to read things. I want to like expand my mind when I can't.
You can't.
And playing those games, I can't do that. How do you expand your mind playing those fucking mindless button, kick, button? And to be honest,
they're not mindless.
I will say, what catches me, which grabs me, and I just like I was about to say, I have played Star Wars Fallen Order, and the minute they start pumping out IP games that's IP that I'm interested in, I want to be in that world, I'll play it. But it all comes down to like, you got to make me interested into the world. And if it's a whole new IP and it's like, oh, I got to learn this whole world, I don't know. But Fallen Order is interesting because you actually have an actor that's well known that plays the lead character.
Who plays
that is a Jedi. The kid, the blonde, the redheaded kid in what the hell is oh man, you know his face. That's really what it comes down to.
Redheaded kid
that was in that show with like, you know, all 10 brothers and sisters, and Frank the dad was a deadbeat. It takes place in Chicago. It was a Showtime show. Oh, man, I cannot remember the name.
10 brothers and sisters and Frank.
Yeah, they're like adopted. Like the dad's had a bunch of kids and they all live with the sister. She's the oldest. She takes care of them, but she's kind of she's a complete mess.
Oh, Shameless?
Shameless. Bingo. What's his name? Mohan?
Redheaded kid on
Redheaded kid,
Shameless.
remember? He was like a
See,
firefighter or something.
the gay kid?
Yes, I think he is. Anyway, so he plays what's it? I don't even know his name, but he plays the lead in the game. And he's fantastic. Like they did a great job with it. They must have done a lot of like motion capture stuff for him.
Cameron Riley
Cameron Riley, Monahan or whatever his name is. He's going to be great. He's going to fall. They're going to show him in one of these Star Wars shows because his character was too great. And it's great because you get to go to like different planets and you explore and you learn to be a Jedi and then you can be a Jedi. Like I'm kind of showing my nerddom here, but I love Star Wars and I love Star Trek. And you get those two IPs together and I will fucking, eat the sauce all day long.
Are there any like good Star Trek video games? How come they never made those?
There's not really that many great Star Trek video games. The problem with Star Trek is like it's primarily TV, right? Before the newer stuff that's been out, it was all episodic and it wasn't as open for you to kind of think about it as it was as like Star Wars is in a lot of the ways.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to kind of play in that space, but it's getting good. Like,
and the ship does all the work.
The ship does a lot of the work. You make the decisions.
They just tell it what to do.
Sure. There's no supernatural element to Star Wars for the most part. Star Trek, sorry. To start like original Star Trek, there was no real supernatural element. It was all science based, whereas Star Wars is a fantasy. It's a fantasy movie.
Right.
Like Lord of the Rings, but science fiction, although there's no science behind it. Like Star Wars is terrible in that, like we saw our buddy Stosh sent this Reddit and he basically sent like how Star Wars ruins how it ruins science because like spaceships are falling out of the sky or
like bombs are
dropping, which doesn't make sense in space, or the big element whereas they're running out of fuel. And it's like, well, that doesn't matter if you're running out of fuel because once you go one constant speed in space, it's a vacuum. You just keep going that speed until you hit an object that slows you down or either shoots you back in another direction because it's going faster, greater density, greater speed. So there's so many science problems that are wrong but Star Wars doesn't try and answer those questions. It's fantastical. It's a fantasy. Anyway,
Elden Ring, yo.
Check it out.
Star Wars games, Elden Ring all day. I
double pumped that shit. So, Dan, big news. Huge news.
Baby on the way. Congrats, bro.
How much do you trust? Do you trust your pilots in your planes?
How much do I trust them?
Mm-hmm.
As far as I can throw them.
Really? What?
No?
So
I don't know. I trust them.
The airline pilot is a glorified bus driver.
Yeah, like they're not. You want to talk about like mindless free thinking?
No, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of skill likely involved in their thing. A bus driver involves some skill. Obviously, you're driving a big giant vehicle. You're moving people from point A to point B. Sorry, excuse me. I would say, yeah. Well, coincidentally, JetBlue, they had a pilot in New York who was removed from an airplane in Buffalo on Wednesday, the 2nd. He was removed from the airplane because he blew 0.17 on a breathalyzer test, which is twice the driving legal limit of a car. Pilots are considered not fit to fly if their blood alcohol is over 0.04, which is actually, which if that's the case, he is 4 times the legal limit of flying an airplane at that point.
But like, how much is he driving? How much is he actually freely flying?
Are you arguing for the pilot?
For the
Are
sake
you
of the,
saying
for the
it's
sake of the
okay?
cast.
So
For the-
as somebody that flies in an airplane, Dan, you're telling me that you would feel comfortable if your pilot's like, oh yeah, the guy in row E3, he said he wanted to buy you a drink, Captain. Oh, did he? Of course. And let him know I'll get the next round when we're 30,000 feet up.
I'm just saying, how much does he really control in the cockpit? And you got a second guy there too, or woman. You know?
I mean, how much he controls, I don't think that matters. It's the liability. Like here, I look at it this way.
My man probably takes off and lands.
Even if this man has no other job than to push a red button that says save people's lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if the job is as simple, everything else is automated. He has one job. It's to push the button that says save people's lives in the situation of an emergency, right? One big red button. All he's got to do is push it. But he's 0.17, almost 0.20 legal blood limit. That's 20% blood limit, or like booze is in his body, right? So if that's the case, explain to me how that is any, like, how would you be okay with that?
How long's the flight?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it matters.
He's the guy that's going to save you.
No, it matters.
No, it doesn't matter. Why does it matter?
Right, if it's an 8-hour flight and my man takes off, has a drink or 2 hours into the flight, that still gives him 6 hours to shake it off.
You're making the assumption that there's a problem that only happens at takeoff and landing.
I think those are the
that's
two.
When most of the time it does. But the most dangerous times are when you're 30,000 feet up in the air. Don't you want the man to have clear mind?
I think that is clear mind.
You think being drunk is having a clear mind?
Whoa. 1.7?
0.17.
0.17.
Dan, that is intoxicated.
How big is this guy? How much does he weigh?
It doesn't. That's his blood alcohol level, man.
How much does he drink on a regular basis?
You can die at 0.3. You could die at 0.3.
0.17 to some is really bad. This guy, what is this guy? 240? 260?
Buddy.
Does he drink every night? Because all these are variables. It's different. It's all different.
You're arguing for the captain of this plane who has 200 people's lives in his hands.
But does he?
Yes.
But does he?
Does he? Tell that to Sully Sullenberger.
But
save the
he,
lives
though?
of all of those people on that plane. Captain Sullenberger, you are a hero.
If there's like an emergency, I mean, maybe I'm naive. If there is like an emergency protocol or whatever where he's got to fly the whole plane by himself, that's why you got 2 pilots in there on every flight.
So one can be drunk?
I mean, yes.
No.
There's a fail-safe there. There's a security blanket.
What if the other guy, what if the lines are crossed and they both don't realize that, oh, I thought it was my turn to be drunk?
Then I'm taking 0.17 guy. He's still probably better than me sober. You want a guy who can, I'm
like, I don't get it. Like, you're okay with this?
You want a burger from a guy who makes burgers, right?
Yeah.
And do you want a burger from a guy who makes burgers drunk? Or do you want a burger from a guy who doesn't make burgers at all?
So you're saying my only choice is either the drunk cook or the guy that doesn't know how to prepare food? So your
Yeah.
scenario is I either get a drunk pilot or you get me, the guy that can barely start my 1993 Honda Civic that has battery issues.
Yeah, I'm trying to make lemonade here, you know?
No, no, like that shouldn't be the option. And
It's
that's
like
why this man was removed from his plane. And he is actually, just so you know, he is they're investigating the situation, and apparently he is involved and has been removed from all of his duties, as he should have been.
0.17. How many drinks is 0.17? All right, let's for real. Let's dig into this.
0.08 is legally drunk, Dan, if you're driving a vehicle. 0.08. And if you are flying an airplane, 0.04 is
The
legal.
general rule of thumb is it takes about 3 drinks an hour for a woman to reach 0.08.
Okay.
Okay? For a person who weighs 100 pounds, it'll take about 3 drinks an hour to reach a 0.08.
3 drinks an hour to reach a 0.08.
Yeah.
Dan, think about that. That means that this guy was a 0.17, which means to get to a 0.17 in 1 hour, he would have needed to have 6 drinks in an hour.
Yeah, in men, okay. Approximate blood alcohol percentage 0.17. I think that's 10 drinks. Damn, dude, what are you doing?
A body can get rid of 1 drink per hour. So 1 drink is 1.5 ounces of 80 proof liquor or 12 ounces of a beer. So essentially,
How much this guy weigh? Let's say he weighs 180, 160.
160? What is he? A preteen? You just give him 100, give him 190 pounds. Unless you're Wade Boggs, who once
He's
drank
he's 0.17.
0.17.
All right, and if he weighs
Telling you, Dan.
if he weighs 180,
Let's say 190.
that's 8 drinks.
8 drinks in an hour? Dan, do you know what would happen if I had 8 drinks in an hour?
I don't know where the hour is coming from though.
What do you mean?
Oh
the
yeah,
hours
subtract 0.015 for each hour after drinking. Okay.
So like to be at 0.17, that's why I'm saying at 0.3, you could die.
I mean, he had 8 beers.
Unless you're Wade Boggs, who once drank 107 beers and went 3 for 5 the next day. That's true. Yeah, I agree. And then Nova said, if I drank 3 drinks in an hour, I'd be blacked out drunk. Absolutely, you'd be blacked out
3
drunk.
drinks in an hour?
I'm with you, Nova. I would totally.
No. What kind of
I would be
drinks?
sauced. I'd be sauced. Name the drink. Because they're saying that a 12-ounce beer is a drink, a 1.5 ounce shot is a drink, and a 6-ounce glass of wine is a drink. So that's considered a drink.
I mean, if I had 3 regular beers, like 3 Coors Lights or something in an hour, I'd feel a little like loose. For
You
sure.
feel a little loose with 3 drinks in an hour?
Yeah.
Dude, if I had 3 drinks in an hour, I'd be like that monkey that breaks out of the jail cell and just starts masturbating all over the place. Okay. Like 3 drinks in an hour, I'm done, man. I want to go to bed. I can't manage it. I can't. Like if I had 8 drinks in an hour, you would have to take me to the hospital.
3 drinks in an hour? You'd have to take
8 drinks in an hour, you'd have to take me to the hospital. 3 drinks, we have a problem. 3 drinks, we wouldn't have a problem. I'd just be very drunk. I'd be like, I like being here right now.
3 White Claws in an hour. You'd be fine.
I'd be drunk, Dan. What? I'd be drunk, man. And you know what? You know what? So would you, whether you want to admit it or not.
Not in an hour. I'd be pretty loose.
You're fucking out, man. You'd be drunk. Let's do it right now. Go take 3 shots of something right now.
I'd be all right.
Huh?
I'd be all right. I'd
Okay.
definitely drive.
No, you couldn't drive.
I
You
mean,
could think you could drive, but you would be over the legal limit.
no, actually, no, I could drive. So for me to get to 0.08,
Yeah,
I'd have to have 5 drinks in an
in
hour.
an hour. Okay.
So what?
So,
I could have 4.
what's funny is if this guy's 250 pounds that you claiming he is, and he's at 0.17, how many drinks did he have to get to 0.17 at 250 pounds?
Right.
Just look. I'm curious.
Oh,
In 1 hour.
250
Yeah.
to get to 0.17?
Yeah. How many drinks would this guy have had to have had?
10. A little more than 10. He'd be if he was 240 and above, he'd have to have 10.
10 shots? 10 shots, man? 10 shots, 10 beers. One beer is a drink, one shot. How many Zimas? That's a good point, John. How many Zimas
How
is
many
one
Zimas?
drink? I imagine it's a beer, but anyway.
Damn, like I'm around 240-ish. And with 4 drinks that'd be 0.06. That's good.
4 drinks, you'd be 0.06. I'm 185 pounds. What do you got? 185.
180. So
0.17.
you're over. Yeah, you're 08. You could have 3 drinks basically.
I could have 3 drinks. Okay, I'd be drunk. I shouldn't drive at 3 drinks for sure.
But you
I
technically
shouldn't.
could.
Yeah, I
You're,
technically
you're
should.
impaired.
I get
You're
what you're saying.
impaired.
No, I'm
But-
really impaired. Like I'm impaired.
4, you're in the red. You'd be legally intoxicated.
Yeah, well, 3 I shouldn't be driving, even if it's legal.
But after an hour, let one fall off. Good to go.
Well, yeah, Imperial not measuring. Anyway,
I
that's-
mean, you ever see
gotta
that movie?
trust-
You ever
gotta
see
trust the
Flight?
pilot. Yeah.
Flight was a great film.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do for Denzel, he was all fucked up, and he was like, "Hey, if you want me to win this case, you gotta hook me up with my stuff." And they gave him a couple lines, gave him a couple beers. He got level, and he was good to go. Sort of proving that like some people have this shit to regularly function.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
That-
if
so
point-
you're saying that's sort of proving. So there's this great thing I heard about these like creatures that come out of the ground. They're like ghosts, and there's this team of guys that go and catch them.
yeah.
And that's just kind of like proving that like
Shut up.
men go around with like laser guns and catch ghosts. That's just kind of proving that. So
No.
yeah, give me some more of this stupid fucking nonsense of you actually claiming that a movie is real, Dan.
No, my point is like the movie's not real, but the basis is like your baseline is not someone else's baseline. Like if this guy drinks 6 drinks a day on the reg, 0.17 to him is not 0.17 to you or I.
Yes, you're right. But we live in a world of standards where there are measurables, and maybe this guy is cool as a cucumber when he's drunk at 0.17, and like nobody knows he's drunk. That
Yeah.
means he's not drunk. Wrong. He's still impaired. He just lives in the world of impairment. It's like the guy that's like, oh, I spent 7 days in those drunk goggles. By day 2, I can.
And that's what I'm saying. Like if the dude lives in a world of impairment, then I prefer him flying the plane.
So if you didn't know this person and you found out that they had 0.17 and you took your wife and your child on this airplane, you're going to be like, he's probably okay.
Here.
He's good.
No, all right, here. I'll pose you this question. You got 0.17 pilot, flies all the time, drinks every night.
Okay.
And then you've got fucking Johnny Matthews in the back taking a couple flight lessons, gone out a few times, on his way to getting his like pilot's license. Blew a 0.0. You want Johnny fucking Matthews or you want 0.17 guy flying the plane?
Why is my choice a drunk guy that has experience flying planes or a guy that's read a book?
Because I'm making the
This is,
stakes.
but the scenario is this. This is a professional company that hires professional people to do their job.
No, like,
It's
but
a
like you're saying,
professional-
right? You're saying like emergency situation. They're like, hey, everyone, is anyone a pilot? Fucking Pete is a .17 right now.
Yes.
And then this guy's like, well, I flew a plane once. And he blows a 0.0. You want him flying it? Or do you
No.
want .17?
I want 0.17.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's not like, but that's not like you've changed the structure of the thing. My situation is I shouldn't have to be put in that situation to make that decision on a normal commercial flight. If I'm on a fucking Southwest flight, I
Right.
shouldn't have to make that decision. I should be able to expect my pilot to be able to not even put me in that situation in the first place, right?
Right. Yes, of course. Yeah. No, we shouldn't have to deal with this.
Oh
It's
my
preposterous.
God. Anyway,
But that's
Guys.
why we got two of them.
we learned
You
a
know?
lot in this segment, by the way. We learned how many drinks it takes a 185-pound man to drink before he's at the legal limit. We also learned that 250-pound man to hit the legal limit is 10 drinks.
No.
No, 10 drinks at 0.17.
10 drinks to .17
All right.
if
Well,
you're 240.
yeah, let's do it. There we go. Oh, we have one last message here on our Facebook here. What he said. What did John say? I once took the stick of an F-15 and I'm the last guy who should fly a plane. Yeah, but I guess was my choice a guy who has flown an F-15 and is super drunk, or you, John?
Just what's the scale? You gotta like we gotta deal with all the variables, you know?
Oh, man, like you can't yeah, whatever. Anyway, what do you got, Dan?
I mean, you know, we got another issue here on a cruise ship.
Oh my God, is this the same scenario?
This one was a terrifying water slide mishap on a cruise ship. Is a thing of nightmares.
Okay.
Basically, this woman is filmed sliding down a partially clear tube of a ship's ocean loop slide,
Mhm.
which doesn't just go down but sends riders up like hills as well, and part of it hangs off the ship. And unfortunately for the woman, she didn't have enough momentum to get her over one of like the humps in this tubular slide, so she wound up sliding back down it until she came to a stop in the clear tube in the middle of the slide, which just happened to be hanging over the ocean.
Did it break,
It's like,
or was she just scared?
so like she couldn't.
I get the scenario. Like I envision what this is. Like I get it. I'm just saying, like, so what was the problem? Ultimately, she couldn't get out of this tube.
Yeah, she didn't have the momentum to like get through the entire slide because it, like parts of it like curled
Yeah.
up and down.
Sure.
So she was just stuck in this tube. Yeah, that's it.
So did they like throw her a rope? They tell you how she got out of it?
She was quickly rescued by the ship's staff. There's a side door for the slide, and she was out of it immediately.
Okay.
But immediately when? Immediately after it happened, or immediately once like emergency people came to it?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Immediately
like,
when?
she's fucking hanging out in there until somebody noticed. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's for sure. Or it's the screams of like, "Oh my God, I'm over the ocean."
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be afraid of that.
One person was quoted saying like, "I would have a panic attack. My heart rate accelerated watching this. Stuck in a clear tube suspended over the ocean. Nope."
Definitely.
Yeah, there's some stuff on the cruise ship that like it's a little dicey. A little risky. You've ever cruised?
No, never cruised. Madeline's not interested in cruising.
No cruising.
She's not. I probably never ever go. I've always wanted to go on one of those like big world tours.
Oh
where
yeah.
you're like on the boat for like 6 months and it becomes your
Yeah.
house.
There's people who
Then
like
it's
live
like,
on those.
yeah, you like live on the boat for 6 months. It's like $30,000. And you're
Right.
on the cruise ship and you go to 40 or 50 ports
Like a lot of
over a
old
matter
people.
of 6 months. Yeah, it's probably a lot of old people. I wouldn't mind doing it. Like, I think it'd be fun. Like, see the world via the ports. Now, it's a lot of touristy shit because a lot of those ports survive off of that. But I think it's kind
Yeah.
of cool.
I saw a video and this woman was like, "Well, I got my bread from France and my butter from Greece." They just like go get food and shit from port to port.
Well, I think that's pretty badass. I want to go there, Dan. Anyway, well, you guys,
So,
don't get stuck.
yeah, don't do the slides.
As a child, I felt that I was maybe missing a tick. You know what I mean? Like I just felt like I was just a little bit slower than I should be.
What was your blood alcohol?
Well, I think there's an explanation that doesn't have anything to do with booze. It's actually worse than booze, Dan. It's leaded fuel. Okay. Study recently released, peer reviewed study published Monday in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, focused on people born before 1966, that basically said the exposure to leaded gasoline lowered the IQ of about half the population of the United States of America.
Damn.
So, overall, researchers from the Florida State University and Duke University found childhood lead exposure cost Americans an estimated 824 million IQ points, or 2.6 points per person on average. Now, most people, it's not really going to affect them, right? But if you're
Yeah.
on the low end of the spectrum, 1 or 2 points can actually affect you big time. Some people were known to have experienced up to 6 and some up to 7 points of exposure because it came from primarily inhaling auto exhaust from just being around it.
That's weird.
So, for all of us born pre 1996, if you've ever wondered or you've ever had that feeling, you felt like people were judging you, or you always felt like you just kind of weren't catching it as quickly as you thought you could. It's
Leaded
because
fuel.
of leaded fuel for almost 100 years, and it's pumping into the air. You're sucking it into your lungs. It's basically destroying your brain, and you're not as smart as you thought you could be. What are your thoughts, Dan? Do you
Well,
feel like you were missing a tick? Did you feel like you were kind of stumbling?
I don't know. I do know when I was a kid and I smelled gasoline,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it smelled like French fries and I liked it.
French fries.
Yeah.
I never got the French fry vibe. I always thought, oh, it smells like gas. I like it.
I thought it smelled like French fries and I liked it. But
Oh,
now I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, man, I never smelled French fries when I smelled gas. And I don't even know that I smell gas anymore.
I smell gas. Well, in California, you probably don't smell it like you used to when you were a kid, because in California, they have like those seals that go around the thing, and you
Yeah.
won't smell the gas if that properly seals.
Yeah. I don't
It's
smell
meant
the
to like
gas.
eliminate any smell coming out, like in the state of California. Go to Idaho, dude.
French fries again?
It's literally just the metal tube. You just sit it in, you see the fuel coming out. Boom. It's the best type of way to get gas.
Spitting out.
You hear the gas flowing. You're filling it up. You put it inside your drink as a little spritzer. It's like you
Dude,
got your big gulp, no problem. Here's my little jet gulp now. Flammable, ready to go.
what's up with these prices, man?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I work in expensive part of Los Angeles, which is all expensive, but the gas prices were $7.56 a gallon. And
Shit.
that was premium. And and like the basic regular $7.29. So
It's crazy, right?
for those of you out there, you need to realize I think we'll hit $10 gas.
You think so?
I think it'll hit $10, man.
Cause what? We're stopping the old Ruski gas.
Well, I don't think we deal with a lot of Russian gas. I mean, we create a lot of our own, like we get a lot of our own oil, but like cheap crude that comes out of the Middle East is big time. So
Yeah.
I know that for sure, but we don't import a lot of Russian oil. I mean, we don't import a lot of Russian anything. We've kind of been a country that's kind of separated ourselves from it, but
I know
Russia's
Biden
part of the
posted
world market. So the minute people stop buying Russian products, the price will go up. Because they're not going to use it. There's only a few markets there, so it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. John says 1.5. I'm assuming he's saying we only buy 1.5% of our oil and gas from Russia. Crazy.
I saw that Biden posted some shit that was like, we're not buying shit from Russia anymore. No more gas.
McDonald's today closed all of their stores in Russia. McDonald's, Starbucks, all of these Western businesses are closing their shop in Russia. To be honest, I have to kind of salute these guys.
What's that gonna do though?
I don't know.
It's gonna
I mean,
put people out of work.
It will in Russia. You're sure as shit right it'll put people out of work.
And then what?
I don't know.
What's
Maybe
it gonna
an
do?
overthrow of the government for putting them in this position.
Fuck no.
What do you think it's going to do, Dan?
You think somebody who works at McDonald's, no offense to anyone who works at McDonald's, is gonna overthrow Putin?
True revolution starts with once the lower class, realizes that they've got it really bad. That's where it happens. Not the elites, man. The elites are trying to control the situation. It's when lower class people realize that they have it bad. That's what pushes it. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But I'm just saying that, yeah, thanks, John. I agree. I think, way to go to Pepsi, Coke, Starbucks, and McDonald's. Forget it for not, no more Coca-Cola in Russia. Imagine that. No more Coca-Cola.
They took our Coke.
Dude, it's an international brand. What's interesting about this is it shows. It's so crazy because this is such a modern war that we're not necessarily fighting, but we're helping supply one of the sides. It's so crazy to see how connected we are and how small the world really is and how powerful cancel culture is.
What happened? Here's my question. I'm not advocating that these businesses shouldn't leave Russia or anything like that.
Sure.
Just hypothetically.
Yeah.
Let's go on this ride. Let's say Netflix, who also stopped business in Russia. If you had a Netflix account in Russia, you don't anymore. They've cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say Netflix doesn't like some shit that happens in Colorado. Can they just shut off their shit in Colorado? Probably.
Yeah, of course they can.
Until they get what they want, right?
I guess this is a little different though.
If Amazon,
you're trying to make an argument that if I'm a business, I'm going to shut it off because I'm going to get what they want.
No, if Amazon doesn't get a certain policy passed or something like that, can they just be like, well, we're going to stop business in all the places that voted no?
They sure can.
Right.
And if they can afford to do that, that's their choice. The United States government doesn't control whether they're open for business or not.
Right.
That's what makes us not,
It's pretty powerful.
That's why it's so powerful that these guys are doing it. And John said, it's not the jobs. Imagine telling a major city in 2022 that they can't have a Coke and a cheeseburger when they want it. There'd be riots. I don't know if people when McDonald's opened up in Russia, it was a big deal because what it said is the Soviet Union is truly gone. Western society is coming into the country. Privatization is taking place in a country that was completely communism, right? It was pure communist country. So like that was a big moment after the fall of the Soviet Union. So like
McDonald's was a fucking symbol, man.
it was a symbol. It absolutely was a symbol. And now that it's pulled, it's just it's bonkers. It's crazy to experience. It's crazy to watch this unfold. And I have to say, like, it's kind of cool to see all of these like companies being like, this is bigger than our dollar.
So then why didn't fucking Diet Coke stop selling Diet Coke in the States when they knew that Trump lived off Diet
Buddy,
Coke?
this isn't about like that. You know that, right? Like you're trying to make a country's choice to impede on somebody else's border the same as like, squabbles on interstate politics. Like it's not even the fucking same. It's not.
Why not?
It's bullying. It's a big country bullying small countries to get what it wants, and it's not okay on an international stage. It's just showing that, hey, you do something that upends the world order, you're gonna experience pushback, and that's what's happening.
I'm just saying, like, why wouldn't a business do it on a smaller scale?
It can like you're making it sound like it can't. Like, is that a problem if they do that? Does that bother you if they do that? We don't force businesses to stay open. We can't force a business to stay open. As a matter of fact,
But
we
like
don't
all
want to force a business to stay open. If they want to leave, that's up to them. Like we're a mixed economy. We let businesses come and go if that's what they want to do.
like all of these businesses have like a good PR standing now because the headline is like Pepsi is leaving Russia, Coke leaving Russia, Starbucks is leaving Russia. How much money would a company make if they were like, we don't like Donald Trump is banned from Starbucks, or Amazon will not ship packages to Texas because of what they're doing to trans children and abortion rights. Like they stand to make a shitload of money taking a stance like that.
That's up to them if they want to take that risk. I don't see the problem in it. Like you're just like
I don't see a problem in that either.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. John makes a good point. Lots of businesses and studios did pull out because of Georgia's bad political decisions regarding voter rights
and like the All-Star game.
Rights. Yeah. Trans rights,
game.
like things like that. Like in Charlotte, that was a big one, right? Charlotte, the trans rights that they ended up like stomping on or whatever. Same idea.
So they've shown that they'll leave a country
that invades another country that did nothing to provoke the invasion. Yes, they show that.
So why not leave a state? Why not
stop them? Why they don't?
That's what I'm saying. Why not? Like, do it. Like, why don't they do that then? Why don't they do that on a smaller scale?
Because this is a much more of I think a greater moral argument. This isn't about the dollar. Like they do it because, they don't want to get involved in that type of inner political nonsense.
You think
That's
RC
why
Cola?
They don't pull out.
You think
That's
RC Cola's like, yo, what's up? What's up, Russia?
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, we sell it. We're all about like, you just be you. RC Cola's new slogans: "Be you, Russia."
Yeah. Shasta's new slogan: who cares?
Right.
Shasta's moving in on the Russian soda market.
Yeah.
There's a big vacuum that Shasta's gonna fill that void, baby.
Brakuvanov Shasta, great drink, cola. I don't know, man. Like if a business wants to pull out of a city or a state or whatever it is, they can do that, and they can legally do that. It's their right to do that.
Just interesting, like they'll everyone's taking this hard stance on Russia. They could take a hard stance on abortion rights in Texas.
But it's those types of battles are, I think it's different. I don't like, they don't do it because they, for the most part, are apolitical. This thing that's happening right now it is an apolitical thing. Like it's not left or right. This is wrong. This is completely wrong. Whereas in the United States, like there's a percentage of people that agree that abortion should be completely illegal. And then there's a big group of people that agree that abortion should be legal. So, you know, there's varying sides. And you just stay apolitical, you just don't get involved in any way with that and you go about your business, right? But this is a true like this is truly wrong what's happening.
Yeah.
And here's the United States just saying we're not going to buy your oil.
We're not buying that oil.
I'm gonna bang that war drum. Bang it. Bang the shit out of that war drum because like this is the biggest type of injustice in the world is when a country invades another country, especially a country that like these aren't considered third world countries.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like it's when they are completely imbalancing the world order in what they're doing and like world order is one thing. People don't like that the way that's labeled, but all I'm saying is you're at Starbucks making lattes and the next morning you're handed a AK-47 and told to check cars at a checkpoint and make sure there's no Russians in them looking to kill your president. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy that can happen.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't. Like land grabs aren't a thing. Why is this a thing? Anyway.
Putin, if you're listening, fuck off, bro.
Dan and Kody, we don't agree. Putin, we don't agree.
I could beat up Putin in a fight, right?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
What's Putin's stats?
It doesn't matter.
He's 69.
He's former KGB.
You think he's got the 411 on me?
I think he walks up to you with a unassuming umbrella and injects poison into your chest and you collapse within minutes. You didn't even know what hit you. You didn't even get a swing in.
How tall is this motherfucker?
I don't know. He's probably 5'6".
How tall is Vladimir Putin? I bet that's really like need to know basis.
You think the CIA has like a file? It's like height, and it's just blocked out. It says classified right next to his height.
Yeah, there's not really a clear thing.
Really?
Most likely, they're saying most likely barely higher than 160 centimeters. How big is that? 5'6"?
He's 5'7".
Right, and that's like they're coming to that based on like him standing next to other world leaders whose heights are common knowledge.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So he's fucking 5'7". Dude, I could beat his ass. He's 69.
He's former KGB, Dan. Former KGB. Just don't forget that.
What's that even mean?
You don't know what the KGB is? It's the Russians' like Secret Service, man. It's their CIA. He was like, he was an intelligence officer for the Soviet Union. Like, he's dangerous, dude.
How many pounds is 71 kilograms?
I don't know. What is it? Kilograms to pounds?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but 1 kilogram to 1 to pounds. I don't know what it is right now, but anyway.
He's probably like 150.
Like, so you're telling me that you know you can beat somebody up just by your weight? 2 pounds, so it's 2 to 2. So if it's 71, 142 pounds, maybe 155, 160 pounds.
Yeah, he's $150, 5'8",
He's bigger
69, average. Yeah. I'll take him.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here first. Dan Hill can beat Vladimir Putin. Some kind of
Putin, fight. Let's fight.
Oh
Straight
God.
up. Straight up.
Oh.
No weapons. Let's just fight.
All right, Dan. Well, thoughts, feelings, emotions before we head on out for this evening?
I'm just a guy trying to play Elden Ring and watch Batman, you know? Simple.
Sounds pretty lonely.
Not as I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you think?
I don't know, man. We're just in a really strange time. I don't even know what to think. It's not the same. It's hard for me to like take the day like I normally would. I honestly feel like there's a true imbalance in the world.
Just get Elden Ring, man, and shut it out.
I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it.
Let's find this ring together, bro.
Nah, man, I'm going to let you go on this little journey. I ain't some $20,000 for 40 hours, sensual star that wants to just play the game with you. But I want you to tell me how it goes, and I'm here to support you, pal.
All right.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening to the Dan and Kody podcast. Believe in yourselves and do good in the world.
And God bless America.
Thanks for listening and laughing with the Dan and Kody podcast. Our email is danandcodypodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We are on Instagram at Dan Kody Podcast. Check out our website, danandcody.com, and you can contribute to the podcast by going to patreon.com/Dan Kody Podcast.
Subscribe, bitch! Everybody played themselves down to shit. All right.